My name is James Graves, and welcome to another edition of Night Journey Rewind. As you know, the last Thursday of each month at the Peacock Lounge on 552 Haight Street in San Francisco, we do Thursdays Jazz and Gumbo. And I'm really excited this month because of the fact that this will be our first year anniversary. We've gone through a whole year, and it's like, whoo, whoo, whoo. But it's been working out. And we're also privileged, and I'm really happy. I saw this cat play a couple of months ago, and I said, man, you know, you need to put your own quartet together and come on out and perform. He agreed to do it. We talked about it. He agreed to do it. He's going to be performing this Thursday, the 27th. He has two shows. One is at 8, others around 9:15. Bassist Joe Kruzic. Okay, I got it.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah. So welcome to the show, man. Thank you for taking the time out to talk to us.
Well, thank you for having me.
We got to go down memory lane. Bass player, how did it start for you?
With the bass, I actually started on piano and guitar. Studied classical piano as a child, and then I picked up guitar when my dad taught me guitar when I was a little boy, when I was about 5 or 6 years old. And then when I was around 13 or 14, I started studying jazz guitar, and I found a teacher in up here in Sonoma County, Jason Bodlovich, who taught me really, a lot of the basics of playing over changes and learning all my scales and my chord melody, chord scale theory, but bass was funny. In order to play in the jazz band in high school, I also had to be in the symphonic band. So guitar wouldn't be one of the instruments in the symphonic band. So I chose upright bass, and the band needed a bass player in my high school. So when I was 14 years old, I started playing upright bass and fell in love with it. And you really kind of have to love it because it's such a big instrument, And then since then, I've tried to balance guitar and bass, but bass has really been my main instrument as far as playing gigs. And when I got my bachelor's in music on the East Coast from a school, and that was in bass. So I've definitely studied upright bass, the most, and I would say it's my main instrument, even though I still play a lot of guitar.
What was it about the bass that you just said, yes, love playing the guitar, but there was something special about that bass? What was it?
I think with the upright bass, for one thing, I really like electric bass. I love listening to music with electric bass, but I've never really played electric. It's always been just upright, and there's something about the upright with I don't know how to describe it. The wooden quality of it, with how with the sustain of it, and it has this kind of wooden reedy quality. I'm not describing it well, but it just has this incredible.
I think we understand, though.
You know what I mean? It has this kind of wooden reedy kind of. There's nothing like it, Like, it's, as much as I love electric, or as much as I love listening to electric bass, like upright really has a I don't know, maybe more of a natural.
I can see that, right?
Yeah. And so I just really gravitated towards it, and it was also a matter of listening to different players, like a lot of different jazz bassists I've heard, and there's so many different approaches, and there's so many great bassists, but they're so different with how they play, jazz upright bass. And that kind of attracted me too. Like, there's different ways of approaching it,
Mm-hmm. All right,
yeah.
let's ask this question. Name some of your upright bass players that you. I know there's a lot, so we're not trying to exclude
There's a
anybody,
lot.
but there must be at least one or two that you really kind of like tweaked your ear and said,
Sure, sure.
and who would that be?
Yeah. So early on, like, and still today and always, Ray Brown.
Okay.
Um, he just does such a big, beautiful sound. And then in recent years, like I gotta say, one of my favorite bassists is Jimmy Garrison.
Ooh.
Uh, and it's his sound. It's Jimmy's sound, but it's also his pulse and the way he walked and the way he interpreted his feel, for lack of a better way. Like Jimmy Garrison's one of my all-time favorites. And then on the East Coast, I got to study with Michael Moore.
Okay.
And he was a great influence. Michael Moore is my main mentor and teacher when I was in school. But there's a lot of guys I love. I love, Richard Davis. More recent guys I admire would be like John Clayton, Avery Sharp, Jimmy Booth. Yeah, there's so many people.
I know there was a lot, but that's why I try to say preference in the beginning. There's a lot, but hopefully that maybe there was just really a couple that you just really stuck out there. So we're cool on that.
I could talk about that for a long time. I love Christian McBride. I could listen to Christian every day.
Right. Yeah. My name is James Graves. This is Night Journey Rewind. We're visiting with Joel Kruzic, and he's going to be performing this Thursday at the Peacock Lounge, and going to be celebrating our first year anniversary, and I'm really happy about that. Going through this great music, tell us some of the really special times playing that you just said, this is special. This was just like something that I didn't really imagine was going to happen, but it did.
I get, well, one thing I could think of, when I was in school, I got to play with the great tenor saxophonist Billy Harper, who's my professor I studied with. And Billy Harper had this beautiful project called 60 Voices, if I remember correctly, and it was all of Billy's compositions with a very large choir singing behind us, and that was a really special project to take part in, because I gotta say, Billy Harper is one of my very favorite composers, like, ever. And so yeah, that was a really great thing. And that was in 2013, if I remember right. That was really special. I also got to play for Junior Mance's I believe it was his 90th birthday party.
Wow.
I got to play with a group. We played for Junior's 90th birthday party, and that was a great honor. He's one of my favorite pianists. And, yeah. And then the other thing I would say is, I moved back. I grew up in Sonoma County and on the West Coast, and I moved back in 2013 after college from New York City. And as a guitarist, I started studying with Calvin Keys. I think it was around 2014, 2015. And he's been a great mentor and a great teacher. And right around when COVID started, it's been a great honor working with Calvin, playing bass with him.
That's a good brother, man. I love his playing.
Yeah,
really, you do.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of your own writing? Have you done a lot of your own writing and composing? Have you started, or are you still?
I have to say not a whole lot. I've written a few tunes. I've written some blues and a few tunes, but I would really like to start working more on it. It's a hard thing to try to make yourself, right? Something that you'd want to perform, and I was a performance major in college, and I feel like obviously a lot of, studying left to do for performance, but especially for composition. I would like to compose more, but I feel like I have to hit the books.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now you're going to be performing this Thursday at the Peacock Lounge, 552 Haight Street in San Francisco, California. 2 shows, One starting at 8, the other's going to be like around 9:15, 9:30. First of all, the musicians that are going to be with you on this session.
Yeah. So two out of the quartet are up here in Sonoma County. Rob Suddeth, who's a great tenor saxophonist. I believe he also plays soprano too. And I've worked with Rob quite a bit in the past few years, and he's a wonderful player. And also Kendrick Freeman, who lives in the town of Sonoma, wonderful drummer. He's a lot of fun to play with. He kind of keeps you on your toes. He does a lot of really cool kind of polyrhythmic stuff. And one of my very favorite drummers I've ever worked with. And Kendrick also teaches at Sonoma State University for years now. And then the guitarist is one of my closest friends. He actually lives down in Santa Cruz, so he'll be coming north for the gig. And that's Nelson Hutchison.
Okay.
And Nelson, we met at when we were 18, or I think I was 18, he was 19, in college at the New School. And he is from the East Bay. He's from Alameda, and he, one of my best friends and an absolutely beautiful player. I think you'll enjoy hearing him.
Fantastic. I'm just really impressed. There's such great, amazing musicians in the Bay Area. Because I really did know, just like with you, when I heard you play, I said, "Oh, this guy, I need to have him leading the group out here." And so I'm just really impressed with the caliber of musicians out here in the Bay Area. Now, I live in Southern California. I live in Los Angeles. So, I come out here once a month to do this. So when I got out here, I didn't really know anybody. But what happens, just like when I was first learning about jazz, when I was on the air doing jazz, didn't know a lot of musicians because they blew me. But then I started looking at Miles and John Coltrane people, and then I started looking at the sidemen. I said, oh, well, all these sidemen got albums out. So that's what I'm looking at. That's my approach. I sit up there, I got the main person out, but I'm listening to your sidemen and say, oh man, you want to come out here and perform. So I'm just loving that, man. And that's what it was. And for people out there, that's what it was with this bassist. I heard him play. I said, oh my goodness. I talked to him before he even left. I said, man, would you like to put a group together and come out and play? He agreed. And so we're so happy to have him here on the 27th of this month. Yeah, so what are the people going to expect to hear from this young bassist?
Oh, for on Thursday, I think we have a really nice set list we put together. Some of it, I would say, are perhaps compositions and tunes that you don't hear too often. We're doing some Lee Morgan tunes. We're doing at least 2 tunes by Lee, and we're doing a tune that one of my favorite musicians ever is Hampton Hawes. Great
Hands down, you're right. Yeah.
And we're doing a tune that Hampton didn't write, but he very much made famous in the early 60s, and what else are we doing? We're Wayne Shorter. We're doing at least one composition by Wayne, and I think it will be a good mix of mostly hard bop. I gotta say, like, my favorite stuff tends to be, I guess you would call hard bop.
I have no problem with that at all. Trust me.
I'm glad to hear.
It's interesting because there's so many great, fantastic trumpet players through the years. And undoubtedly we're going to say Miles, and there's so many others. But my favorite trumpeter has always been Lee Morgan.
Me too.
It's always been Lee Morgan, because because he, you really hear his soul when he's playing. And that's what I just really love about him. Like I said, there's a lot of great trumpeters out there, and I love Freddie. I love a lot of these cats.
Yeah.
There's something about Lee's playing that just really. And the next person after Lee would be Blue Mitchell.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, I'm not going to keep you long. I just want the people to get to know who you are, what's happening Thursday, and hey, looking forward to it, man. I really am looking forward to it.
Well, thank you so much, James. It's a huge honor playing at the anniversary of Peacock Lounge. You know?
Appreciate it so much, man.